everywhere burst few hours ago as Tinubu on the run. Tinubu on a very high shock and tension because what happened few hours ago, Tinubu never expected it. As Wole Soyinka finally stormed Aso Rock with protesters and all, he never expected that Wole Soyinka, his very good friend that will be visiting him in the Aso Rock chamber, can actually come to storm Abuja at this very moment. You know, he expected that Wole Soyinka will give him the topmost support amidst all the killings of protesters, the way they poof a lot of protesters in cause of the 1 day of the protest. More than 21 people died in cause of the protest. Now Wole Soyinka is finally leading the protest to another level. Now they caught Tinubu unaware, and the secret operative of Tinubu in Aso Rock couldn't do anything. All of them fall back when they caught Tinubu unaware few hours ago. Now Tinubu is begging for dialogue, but they telling Tinubu he should go and dialogue with the ghost of the people that actually pie in the first day and the second day of the protest. More than 20 people is gone now. More than 20 people life was lost. They said Tinubu should go and dialogue with the dead when he was begging few hours ago. So I'd like us to stay connected to the end of this video because I'm going to be playing you the video. You're going to see everything the way it goes now. They never expected that the protest will continue today after the speech that Tinubu made yesterday. Now the protest is growing more stronger. Now if you can share this video, just do it to share to the social media platforms. Let it go viral. And if you can share it, just like it as you're watching it, like it, give it a thumb up so that you will recommend it for us. Just stay connected. I'll come with the full video.
Welcome you back to LAJUPOG Watch TV.
I don't have bad news for you today.
The home of religious gossip.
But you should leave the fight for Mohammed.
What is happening in the Christendom? Join now to make sense with LAJUPOG.
Hello my great and wonderful viewers, welcome back to LAJUPOG Watch TV. For those of you coming across this channel for the very first time, ensure you click the red subscription button appearing on your video screen. Just click the subscribe button and don't forget, click the notification bell icon so that whenever we drop a new video in few hours time, YouTube will easily let you to know. The protest of Nigeria is getting stronger now and is entering another level. You know, Tinubu came out yesterday regarding the ongoing protest, and you know, he was talking about different things. He spoke for more than 1 hour, but he never addressed the agitation of the people. The Nigerian people have more than 20 agitations, but Tinubu never touched even one of the agitations, and he was expecting Nigerians to just stop the protest. It was argued yesterday that they should just stop the protest and come for dialogue. Now Nigerians have finally burst out in the day 4. They never expected that Nigerians will burst out in the following day that Tinubu made a speech, and which is today the day 5. A lot of people have entered street again. They said no, enough is enough. He never expected that the people will burst out in the day 5. Now the people are finally out again in the day 5. They said no, enough is enough to all the rascalities. Since Tinubu is claiming to feel their pain, and according to his speech yesterday, he never felt their pain. Now Wole Soyinka have finally stormed the protest ground. Now Wole Soyinka have finally come out to lead the protest, and you know, Wole Soyinka is a very good friend of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He will always go to the Aso Rock chamber to eat and dine with Tinubu. Whenever Obi is attacking Tinubu, Wole Soyinka will always come out to attack Obi. He will attack Peter Obi big time. That's what he has been doing, and a lot of people are already developing personal vendetta with Wole Soyinka. But Tinubu never see this coming as Wole Soyinka stormed Aso Rock. You know, they never allow protesters to enter Aso Rock. They never allow protesters to near Aso Rock. But come and see what Wole Soyinka did few hours ago. He shocked everybody. Now Tinubu is begging and is begging for dialogue the moment he was caught in Aso Rock. Now like us to stay connected to the end of this video for you to see everything as it goes. If you can share the video, just do it to share it. Share it to the social media platforms. Let it go viral. And if you can share it, just like it as you're watching, like it, give it a thumb up. But first of all, sharp one, I'm going to be playing you a video now for you to see what happened few hours ago. You see, I always say it, in this Nigeria, we have suffered big time. Come and see the video I want to play to you now. The video of Regina Daniels, where he was addressing protesters. For those of you that have not seen the video before, just stay connected to see the video. Then after the video, I will play you the video of Wole Soyinka, how Tinubu was begging, and all. You will see everything in this video. Don't just rush. If you can share the video, just share it. Stay connected to listen to Regina Daniels. We have suffered big time in Nigeria, and you will hear the response of people. Just stay connected. It's a very short video. I'm coming back again.
Everyone is frustrated nationwide with justified reasons, and something needs to be done to ease the hearts of the people to avoid further loss of lives and properties. Nigeria is not a one-man's land, hence it is not a one-man's problem. Nigeria can only be fixed by the collective effort of everyone in the government, ranging from the president, the governors, the senators, the House of Reps members, the House of Assembly members, down to local government chairmen and councillors. What happens when the federal government understands the plight of the people and the state or local government does not? Or vice versa? The job still remains undone. leaving thousands hungry, suffering, and jobless. The hike in prices of food, water, electricity, transportation, security, and communication is alarming. There is hunger in the land. Nigeria cannot be fixed by having half bad eggs and half good eggs. All the lawmakers need to be in sync with the people's plight to fix Nigeria. Only then can what is rightfully allocated to the grassroots get to them. This should be a government for the people, not against them. And our armed forces, please refrain from using excessive force on the people.
Regina Daniels, the country favor you when now you go end up with Neds. I want your answer. It favor you when now you go marry Neds, because now you they come outside, they form wife of senator to address the youth. You be first wife, I be second wife, I be third wife. Like which number you be for you to they come, they form say you want to address. You leave that duty for first wife to do not be you. Except now your followers when be say you want to address, and even the course when the followers ever give. I know say you know expect them. The fact say when they tell you say you make the right decision, not me say we won't make that same decision. You don't understand. People they want to get pride and ego when one marry as first wife, when we enjoy their husband, get right over their husband. So the fact say you marry, man, no talk. No me say you can't carry phone the address. Who you the address? Not try am again. No, not try am again. Anything when concern Nigeria, you no talk put again. You no get that right to talk put. You dey hear? Smally. Come the address who be your age mate, who be your playmate. I tell you say the protest na play who they play. Sit down, tie one kind nonsense inside the form say you the address. Oh, you don't mash up because you marry a pa. Don't try am o.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can see the Regina Daniels page, you know. You can see course advisor advising us in Nigeria, advising protesters. This lady in question sat down in her house, making videos each day, advising her children and advising them on how to go about the protest and all, because she's enjoying. She's enjoying now. You can see the response that lady actually gave her. You know, she was thinking that this protest is a child play. She was thinking that this peaceful protest is just like a Nollywood, you know. She was once a Nollywood actress and all before an ancestor get married to her. Now, when an ancestor get married to you, when Nigeria is okay, when Nigeria is favoring you, that's the question that we're asking Regina Daniels. You know, will Nigeria be okay and you get married to that kind of person? You will leave your age mate and go and get married to that kind of person before you come out to address protesters. First of all, address that your husband, address your husband on the way that he have been intimidating youths in Nigeria, on the way that he have been putting a lot of people in jail, using power on them. That is what you have been doing. First of all, go and address him before you come to address protesters in Nigeria. I've never seen a situation where a child is addressing elders. Because you get married to an ancestor doesn't mean that you are mature enough or we are now age mates. That's the question out there. That's what a lot of Nigerians are saying. Now let me play you the video of Regina Daniels, the same Regina that is addressing Nigeria. Come and see the video where she's chilling with her husband and all. You will see everything. Just stay connected as I play you Wole Soyinka video after that.
Of electricity. Do you know how much I pay? 265,000 naira every month for electricity. Am I a thief? I'm an entrepreneur. How many businesses have shut down in Nigeria? How many? If you're importing one container of goods.
Now you can see the video of the person that is actually coming out to advise you as protester, claiming that she's feeling your pain. Tell me, is her husband not part of the people that are oppressing Nigerians today? Is he not a senator? Why can't his husband cut his own cost now? That's the question that a lot of Nigerians are asking Regina Daniels. You know, I said we've suffered a lot in Nigeria. That is why people like Regina Daniels, a child that they gave birth to yesterday, can be coming out and advising hungry protesters, and even Portable coming out, a smoker. The person that smoked it always coming out to advise Nigerians on the protesting and all. You can see Nigeria have suffered. We have suffered in this country. Now let me play you the video now that you've been expecting. So I'd like us to stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share the video, just do well to share it, and if you can't share it, just like it as you're watching it. Like it, give it a thumb up, and do well to drop your comment in the comment section of this video. So I play to you now the video of Wole Soyinka and the video of leaders of the protest, the speech they make moment after Tinubu made the speech. You will hear everything. You hear the press conference yourself, and you see the videos that follow. Just stay connected. I'm coming back again.
The insistence that the protests are politically motivated shows a deep disconnection with the masses. The economic progress the president reads out are for himself and his cronies, and not for the masses. The reference to protesters as misguided and uninformed shows that the president is a condescending dictator. We wish to express our sadness and deep disappointment at the latest broadcast by President Tinubu, which is the first address to the nation ever since the End Bad Governance protest started, which is now on the 4th day. After over 3 weeks since Nigerians started mobilizing to take to the streets, and after scores of dead protesters and assaulted journalists from the first 3 days of the protest, President Tinubu broadcast was nothing but a masterclass of gaslighting us, manipulating and double speaking that has plagued Nigeria's brand of public speaking for decades. Many had requested genuinely that the president should address the nation when the protest was being mobilized for, and some even felt that the president should also address even when the protest started, that perhaps he could make some points that could help douse whatever tension is on board. But to the surprise of many, who genuinely felt that if the president had addressed the nation, some of the demands of the protesters would have been captured and sharply addressed by the president. Many of them are today disappointed by what the president read out today. The president only justified state of violence on protesters because we all read out when the president tried to make it appear like what happened in the last 3 days. The level of death, injury and attack on our fundamental rights is nothing but an unfortunate incident that could have been prevented. Of course, maybe too late could have been prevented only if the president himself had immediately met the demands of the protesters even before we commenced the protest. But what we witnessed was that the president himself, and not just him, even in cronies, turned deaf ears to our demands, and the president had to start speaking to various special advisers, people of different names who were never appointed by Nigerians in the first place. The claim by President Tinubu that our protests are driven by a political agenda to tear Nigeria apart is nothing but an attempt to call a dog a bad name so that it can be hanged. It is a gross misrepresentation of the obvious facts that has become the economic reality of all Nigerians. These protests have been largely faceless and leaderless because it was a spontaneous response to the deep economic crisis experienced by Nigeria. The sharp inequality, barbarous corruption and gross human rights abuses that we have seen every day before us. The protest was a lawful response of the Nigerian people to the failure of the Tinubu government and the entire ruling class to address this endemic systemic crisis after over 4 months in power. 14 months in power rather. These protests were mobilized for by the flagrant extravagance of political office holders in Nigeria for the past 14 months, while asking Nigerians to be patient of hunger and hardship, which they claim to be our sacrifice for the nation. But what we have experienced within the 14 years is that those 14 months, is that those who ask us to be patient and have sacrifice are the same persons who are living luxurious lifestyle, who are budgeting millions and billions of naira to live lavishly. In fact, we heard when lawmakers bought vehicles worth over 130 million naira for themselves. At a point, even the president had to budget billions of naira to renovate the presidential building in Lagos. And from the record, the former president who spent 4 years in office only used that residence just twice in those 8 years. Yet the president felt the hardship faced by Nigerians were not needed. That what should be the priority of the government was to go and lavish billions of naira to renovate buildings. We think clearly that this itself is not sacrifice. That instead, Nigerians, the promises, are the ones being sacrificed by the Tinubu government. And it is on that basis that Nigerians themselves felt the need that enough is enough, that they cannot continue to live under this kind of hardship, especially when you consider the abundant resources we have in Nigeria to transform our lives. which was what mobilized for that protest. Because in the recent period we've had many calls, especially from government supporters, that the protest they need to know the sponsors or people who are mobilized for it. But we've made it clear at different points that the Tinubu government himself and the policies they've implemented over the years are the reasons why Nigerians took to the streets. Therefore, they are the ones who have mobilized us for this protest. So, comrades, we'll move to the next speaker to shed more light on these points we'll make.
Of protesters. They have also done that by arresting journalists and demanding a media blackout on the protest, and by sponsoring thugs and looters to discredit our protest. It is therefore infuriating to hear that the same president claims that he understands our frustration and sufferings. Our major blatant contradiction in this presidential broadcast is the part where he said our democracy progresses when the constitutional right of every Nigerian citizens are respected and protected. The actions of Tinubu's administration have been direct opposite of his statement, because they have been arresting journalists and protesters even before the mobilization for this recent protest started. These actions that are outrightly contradicting and undermining the constitutional rights he claimed to uphold. His administration has blatantly disregarded International Human Rights Convention, yet he said in the broadcast that the security operatives should continue to maintain peace, law and order, following the necessary conventions of the human rights, to which Nigeria is a signatory. If this is not of this establishment, because as long as you keep having poor people around you, then even you are not safe. An average hungry man is a potential criminal. The president keep making policies that only enriches the rich more, keep adding advantage to the rich and disadvantages to the poor. The boys who are seen on screen looting today, they have no other hope other than what is left on the left for them to do. We are just a little bit exposed and privileged. That is why we are also not part of them, and that's the only language they can communicate their own protest for the government to see. But I think the best thing for the government to do is to actually make an alternative plan for people who are hopeless, that are wandering on the streets. And when there is now alternatives for them and they are not going about that alternative, that is when you now call them criminals. And I think that the government is comfortable with the Nigerian society having enough criminals than having decent people, because by the time the Nigerian citizens want to protest, they need those criminals to do a counter protest for them, and also to blackmail a decent gathering of Nigerian people who are crying out, so that they can call all of us looters. So if you complain about looters today, you should ask the Nigerian police and you should ask the president, because they are the ones who created them. Thank you.
This press conference is necessary because for the past 3 days since we started this protest, we have been driven off the streets, even including the lawful place, the so-called lawful place, the so-called legal place where the FCTA Wike leadership got an injunction to say we should stick to the stadium and protest only at the stadium. We have been driven from there with tear gas for the past 2 days now. And so it is the essence of, that's the essence of us calling this press conference. First, we must be very clear that the press conference is demonstrating the fact that we have a president that is out of touch with the needs of the Nigerian masses. To further confirm that President Tinubu's disconnection from the masses borders on psychopathy, the president started reading out economic figures in the typical neoliberal attitude that prioritizes some abstract economic growth over the immediate welfare needs of the people. This is the typical attitude of Nigerian leaders in the past, which our generation is rejecting, that you will not read out economic figures to us while not connecting it to our present immediate needs. The broadcast further confirms how much the president is incapable of meeting the Nigerian masses at the point of their needs, but very capable of making policies that will benefit the private investors of his elite clique at the expense of the public. The excess talk about the economic growth and infrastructure development conveniently ignored the fact that these benefits have not trickled down to the masses for 14 months now. This is why we are protesting. We are protesting because we want these economic opportunities and resources to be distributed much more fairly and equally to many Nigerians and not just a few elite Nigerians. We are protesting because we want our own subsidies like fuel subsidy, electricity subsidy, education subsidy, telecom subsidy, etc. Especially in the light of the fact that Nigerian politicians have been doling out subsidies to their rich cronies in form of privatization, deregulation, deals and contracts. When President Tinubu said we have come this far in terms of economic progress in his speech, he was only speaking about the progress that is largely exclusive to his small elite gang. The progress has left the majority of Nigerians behind. The president's call for dialogue rings hollow as much as his acclaimed commitment to democratic governance, given the fact that he has not only ignored the demands of those he claims to want to dialogue with consistently, but he has also suppressed and disregarded the human rights of those he claims to want to dialogue with. And we have to be clear about that. The president of Nigeria has said in the speech that we should stop protesting and embrace dialogue, as if protest itself is not a form of dialogue. And one thing we must be clear about is that the assault on Nigerians, it has become very usual, very common that we disregard it. We don't see it as a big deal. For the past 4 days now, except today, I have had to face tear gas despite being an asthmatic, and it was just this morning that I could afford the money to buy an inhaler. And that's because in Nigeria today, to buy an inhaler will cost you 8,250. That's the cheapest inhaler in the market. And that's why we are protesting. We are protesting because the first aid for a common sickness is 8,250 naira in a country where the last minimum wage is 30,000 naira, and they are here to start paying the 7,000 naira minimum wage. Comrades, they were injured, attacked, and 21 Nigerians that were killed on the first day of this protest. They are not just numbers. They are human beings like us who have died because they joined the struggle to make their country a better place. They are voiced out to make their country a better place. Our president in that speech spoke over the head of all of that. And we need to be enraged about that. His administration has arrested, maimed, and killed the hungry Nigerians who are the backbone and the soul of this protest. Yet he claims to want to dialogue with protesters. Is the president a necromancer, open to dialogue with ghosts? How can an administration who is directly responsible for almost all of the violence and destruction that has plagued this protest lecture us on how we must not let violence and destruction tear our nation apart? The president has tried to make us look like we are the violent ones. But every day since we've been organizing, the violence has been incited by the Nigerian police, the DSS, the soldiers, and the civil defense. And we are saying that as Nigerians, we should not have to beg, we should not have to explain ourselves before we express our right to protest. The president's broadcast is dismissive and condescending to the people he claims to serve. The implicit claims that we are misguided and uninformed shows that he is unaware of our role as citizens, which is to inform and guide him on the issues that matters to us. The issue we met on ground in Nigeria has been that we have had a country where we praise our leaders as if they are not our servants. We believe it is the role of the citizens, the responsibility of the citizens to guide and inform the leaders. And so, the implicit attempt of President Tinubu to make us look like we are misguided, we are uninformed, we are sponsored, and that's why we are protesting, shows again that our president is out of touch. He should be listening. We should be the ones lecturing him on democracy and good governance and policies to address the issues fueling the protests. Given Tinubu's gargantuan history of corruption and self-enrichment through public wealth, he is the one who needs a lecture and probably a mental rehabilitation. He is so corrupt that he has reduced the trust of Nigerians in the government just by emerging as president. We cannot look out there. Across countries in Africa, people are taking polls of how much people have trust in their government. And Nigeria today is lowest on those polls, because just by emerging alone through a very corrupt electoral process, Tinubu has reduced the confidence of the people, the trust of the people in their governance. And a country where people don't trust in the governance of the day is a country that will especially be unstable. Because if the government is not responsible to the people do not owe anything to the government, and they do not owe the government to respect any law and order. And that is writing letter to chaos. And that is why we are saying we are the peaceful ones in this protest. We are the ones trying to ensure that Nigeria does not descend into chaos because of the poverty, the instability, the alienation that we see every day on our streets. We must state clearly that this broadcast only makes it clearer that Tinubu is a dictator and not a Democrat. The broadcast only exposes Tinubu for who he is, a megalomaniac and unprincipled dictator who wants to use force and coercion to consolidate his power. We therefore call on all Nigerians to come out in large numbers to continue this protest on Monday until our demands are met. By now we would notice that the Tinubu government has gone to the press to tell the press to stop capturing this protest, with the hope that they can kill us all in silence. Yesterday, before we started the protest, where we were tear-gassed at the National Stadium, the cronies of the Tinubu government had gone online to say that protest is not holding today, that the youth are afraid, they can no longer protest again. But when that protest gathered momentum, they tear-gassed us and dispersed us. So this is to show that this government is only trying to use force and propaganda to stop us from actually organizing ourselves as Nigerians to demand for a better country. It is not too much to ask. The two-pronged approach of violence and propaganda has failed. The violence and repressions are just attempts to silence and control us, and the propaganda cannot sway or fool us. The struggle for a new and better Nigeria continues. We must not be tired. The future of Nigerians depend on our determination at this moment, and we use this opportunity to call on the people of Nigeria, especially those living in the FCT, to make their best efforts to participate in the protests as from tomorrow. We appreciate the fact that many Nigerians have trooped out to say that our demands are legitimate. This is the reality on the streets. And we must also point out that asking Nigerians to not protest, when that same government asking us not to protest, presently I got here late because there are 4 queues on the streets right now. So a government that is asking us not to protest but is making fuel scarce and making it very expensive, and the government would come on here and not touch on those issues and tell us that the fuel subsidy removal is still working. We want to ask, who is it working for? Is it the corrupt politicians who have built refineries in Malta? Who is the fuel subsidy removal working for? Is it working for the Nigerian masses? This is what we want to ask the Nigerian government, and this is why we are saying that please, Nigerians, do not be swayed by the fact that they have tried to keep you at home with the fuel scarcity. By the fact that they are trying to keep you at home, please come out tomorrow and protest. One thing we want to make clear is this: the court order to stop us from protesting anywhere we want, especially at the seat of power, which is the National Assembly and the 3-arm zone, that court order is not constitutional, because Nigerians reserve their right to move on public roads. Public roads are built with public money. Nigerians reserve their rights to freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of dissent. We should not have to beg the government before we assert our freedom of assembly. And so we would like to tell this government that the only way we can dialogue is what we are doing right now. We are doing this now to tell the government that this is our dialogue. Yes. We are telling the government that our demands still stand. Reversal of fuel price to what it was before May 29, 2023. Reversal of electricity hike, tariff hike. reversal of school fees increments across board, reversal of all of the taxes that the tax master himself, Tinubu, has introduced. These are our demands, and we are not reneging on these demands. Even though Tinubu has tried to tell us that the protests are stopped, Nigerians are tired. Presently, today, Sunday, this morning, protests continued in Jos Plateau State, with protesters organizing their own Sunday service at the protest. Even in Lagos, the same thing happened today. On Friday, we had protesters who did their Juma service at the protest ground. And so we are saying that Nigerians are fully in support, and this is not the time to be afraid. This is not the time for us to go to our rooms and start praying that God will save us. God needs us to save ourselves. This is not the time to start saying, "Shebi God saved us from Abacha now, God will save us from this one." To know this is not a military regime, and we must assert the fact that we are in a civilian democracy, and we must be treated constitutionally as citizens of Nigeria. On this basis, we want to charge Nigerians that we must continue to organize, resist, and build till we have a country that prioritizes the people of Nigeria over the profits and power of a few people.
I will start with salute our people who has been killed by police officers in Kano, Katsina, and the other places. We better die on the street by our country's bullet than die by hunger. We are not afraid of bullets. We are not afraid of tear gas. We are afraid of life without purpose, a life without hope, and that is what our leaders have given us. We demand change, we demand justice, and we demand it now. We will not silence, we will not intimidate it. We will not fight for our. We will fight for our future, even if it means give our lives. To our leader, we say you have failed us, you have betrayed us, but we will not be defeated. We will rise up, we will resist, and we will claim our country. To our fellow Nigerians, we say join us, stand with us. Together we can make a difference. Together we can create a better future. We better die on the street by our country's bullet than live a life of slavery and oppression. Thank you very much.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can see what Wole Soyinka actually said in his statement. You can see everything as it was read out in that very speech. Everything was written by Wole Soyinka. Tinubu did everything possible to suppress the protesters. You can see in his speech yesterday, he actually came out to give that speech as if nothing is happening, as if he know nothing about the police brutality and the way police actually took the life of more than 20 protesters in 2 days of the protest. Now, Tinubu came out and made it known to the general public that he sent his condolence to the family of the people that were killed and all, and he don't want the violence to continue again, that the protesters should stop the protest. Now, who are the people inciting the violence? That's the question that a lot of Nigerians are asking Tinubu. Who are the people inciting the violence? Is it not the same people that Tinubu bought armor for? Like they bought ammunition for more than 6 billion naira is what they used to buy ammunition for the police and all, just to ensure they face the protesters. That was what they did. Now, the same people they bought ammunition for, are they not the same people that were inciting violence in cause of the protest? I'm not saying that protesters in some places did not incite violence, but the people that actually triggered the violence are the Nigerian police force. They're the one that triggered the violence on the peaceful protesters. Now, Tinubu is coming out. He was talking like as if it was the protesters that actually inciting the violence. He said they should stop the violence and they should allow peace to reign. They should come for dialogue. Now, which dialogue did they want to come for with Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Is it the same dialogue that NLC APC go for with Tinubu, the Labour Congress, and they were saying that they want to be giving out 70,000 naira minimum wages that is not even adding up to the economy and all? Is it the same dialogue that Tinubu actually wants the leaders of the protest to come and have with him so that they can share brown envelopes for them? Now the people are saying no, that Tinubu will not see any dialogue. That is what a lot of protesters are saying. They said since he cannot address a single one of their agitations in his 1 hour speech yesterday, that shows that he never felt their pain. That shows that he never see the protest. That shows that the protest is not strong enough. That is what people are saying. They said the protest hit him big time, that he will come out to address the main issues, because he never addressed the main issue as far as Nigeria is concerned. And a lot of people are still hungry. He never addressed the hunger and the night. He never addressed the fuel subsidy thing. He never addressed how they will reduce fuel price to around 200 naira. He never addressed how a lot of things will be going well in the country. And a lot of people are saying it is until I address it that the protest will not end. And a lot of people are saying even till the day 10 of the protest, if Tinubu fail to address their agitations, that the protest in the day 10 will still not stop, that they will still even extend the day. Now, Wole Soyinka came out and made it not to the general public, said what Tinubu actually did in course of the protest, the way Tinubu reacted to the protest is absolutely rubbish, because Wole Soyinka is known to support Tinubu big time. You know, whenever Peter Obi come out back then, whenever Peter Obi come out to talk about the shenanigans, the criminality, the rascalities of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his cabinet, Wole Soyinka, the Nobel laureate, will always come out to attack Peter Obi. He even attacked that Baba Ahmed and all, the vice of Peter Obi and all, and that Baba always give him to big time. He dashed it back to him, but Peter Obi always want to keep peace with Wole Soyinka. Now, the same Wole Soyinka will go to Aso Rock to dine with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. According to the report, he will go to the Aso Rock to sit with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They will talk, they will discuss, a friendly discussions, and they will be happy together. And Wole Soyinka, that same Wole Soyinka, is now coming out talking and saying that Tinubu is not a good government, that Tinubu is not having a good cabinet, that for the protesters to be protesting peacefully, and Bola Ahmed Tinubu instigated the police against the protesters, peaceful protesters. Now, it's not more the news that there are a lot of protesters that are out there that are hoodlums. They are not really protesters. Many of them are hoodlums, and according to report, many of them are sponsored by some of the Nigerian politicians to incite violence in different places, so that they will think it is the protesters, the peaceful protesters, that actually incited the violence. All these things are political strategies, according to report. You know, we saw videos where hoodlum hijack protests and all, and police officers were there doing nothing, and the protesters will be challenging the policemen that what are you doing here? Since you can't stop all this hoodlum from attacking peaceful protesters, you are here, and talks coming out from different places attacking protesters. Do you remember that it was the same thing that they did during the election in 2023? Talks going to different polling units, telling people who to vote for. If you are not voting for APC, you go back to your house. If you are voting for Labour Party, don't bother to come out. Talks hijacking different polling units, and police officers will be there doing nothing. Now, the same talks coming out during the protest now, and they do all sort of things to protesters, peaceful protesters, and the police officers will be there in different protest grounds. They will be doing nothing. They won't even talk to the talks. They won't even do anything. It is only on a rare occasion that you will see army attacking thugs and all. We have never recorded the situation where police attacks thugs and arrest them and bring them to justice or book or put them in jail. It never happened in the history of this ongoing embargo governance protest in Nigeria. It have never happened. We have never recorded it. Now Tinubu is coming out and he's saying that they should stop the violence and come for a peaceful dialogue and all. Now, who are the people inciting the violence? As at now, the death toll, the number of people that lost their life because of the protest, I mean the protesters, we have more than 21 people according to reports, according to Arise News, according to Chinese television, according to Punch newspaper. We have more than 21 people that have lost their life because of the protest. And the same time, we record the number of police officers that protesters actually take is alive in cause of the protest. We have 0. No police officer lost their life in cause of the protest, but we have more than 21 peaceful protesters that lost their life. Who are those people that fight the peaceful protesters? A lot of people are injured, and a lot of protesters are arrested. More than 1,000 protesters are arrested all across Nigeria now. Now, where on earth is this happening if not for Nigeria? Is it not the police officers? Since we have 0 number of police officers that are dying in cause of the protesting and all, and we have good number of protesters that lost their life. Is that not telling you obviously that it is the police officers that are inciting the violence against the protesters and all? Now, what do you guys think regarding everything that Tinubu say? Now, they said the protest actually will continue today, and it have even started since around 7 a.m., which is the day 5. It's becoming more stronger, and Wole Soyinka is in support of the protesters, is against Tinubu at the moment. So what do you guys think will happen in Nigeria before the day 10 of the protest? Drop your opinion in the comment section of this video, as I'm gonna take and that one for you. Ensure you follow me on my social media handles on Facebook at LAJUPOG TV and LAJUPOG Entertainment, and on Instagram at LAJUPOG. Guess what, guys? See you in my next video. Bye for now.
I see the hot for my body, I say make I yarn you. Religious gossip plenty day for body. Pastor with the line on top, he pastor. For LAJUPOG Watch TV. Pastor with the back, where? Politician with the do pass himself. Corrupt leader, all the while you waiting for church. All as LAJUPOG Watch TV.